If you thought that the pressure was on Ruben Amorim at Manchester United, well, think again, as minority shareholder Sir Jim Ratcliffe says that the Portuguese boss needs 3 years to implement change at Old Trafford. Also, a disgraceful offside call denies tiny Cape Verde a place at the 2026 World Cup. And goal music. Do you love it or do you hate it? My name's Sammy James. This is First Up Football. We'll begin with Manchester United and the speculation surrounding Ruben Amorim's future at the club. The Portuguese manager is just a few weeks shy of his 1-year anniversary at Old Trafford. And I don't think I'm being too controversial to say that things haven't been that easy for him since arriving from Sporting. He's failed to record consecutive wins in the league. He's had a miserable defeat in the Europa League final back in May, and then an even bleaker defeat to Grimsby Town in the Carabao Cup. However, their recent form at Old Trafford has eased the pressure somewhat. And on Thursday morning, Sir Jim Ratcliffe told the podcast The Business that he believes Ruben needs 3 years at Old Trafford to prove his credentials.
He needs to demonstrate that he's a great coach over 3 years.
So you give him 3 years?
Yeah, that's where I would be. Yeah, 3 years, because football's not overnight.
No. I mean, I have to say, quite refreshing. Like, I know it's easy to poke fun at Ratcliffe and Manchester United, but a bit of patience from an owner who kind of gets it. Rarely the case in football these days. I guess the key question is, though, are the signs there that Amorim and particularly his system are showing the promise that it's worth this investment in him? If United get 3 years down the line, they've fully bought into Amorim and his style of play, and then they decide, no, it's not working, we need another radical change, I feel like the club's going to be in an even bigger world of pain than they already are. However, Ratcliffe builds on the point he made earlier and states that time and patience is needed to turn the club's fortunes around.
We have to be patient. And, we have a long-term plan. It isn't a light switch. And, you can't run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one.
I've got to say, this was a really interesting interview. Well, at least the football bits were. They did talk about his chemicals company for a bit, which I found less interesting. But still, Ratcliffe goes on to say that he's going to make Manchester United the most profitable club in the world via the restructuring that he and his Ineos colleagues have done. He does, though, praise the Glazers very heavily, saying they are really nice people and they're really passionate about the club, which, I'm not sure you're going to find many Manchester United fans agreeing with you on that one. There's one more nation guaranteed to be at the Men's World Cup in 2026. That nation is Egypt, who books their place with a comfortable 3-0 win over Djibouti, a game played in the neutral venue of Casablanca. Mo Salah scored 2 of the goals that meant that the Pharaohs reached their 4th ever World Cup finals. The country has never actually won a game at a World Cup, so no doubt Salah and co would love to put that right next summer in North America. The other African nation that had the chance to seal their place was Cape Verde, the tiny island nation in the Atlantic Ocean. They faced Libya away from home, but disastrously, the Blue Sharks found themselves 3-1 down in the second half. But there was a comeback. Cape Verde managed to pull it back to 3-3. And then, in the 96th minute, they thought they'd scored a dramatic 4th goal when they raced through to score a late counter-attack. However, the offside flag was up. And when I tell you it's a disgrace, it's an absolute disgrace, to quote Didier Drogba. The Libya defender is so clearly playing the goal scorer onside. Where is VAR when you need it, hey? However, it's not all over for Cape Verde. A win at home against Eswatini, who are bottom of their qualifying group, will seal their automatic place. On Thursday, Algeria are likely to seal their place if they can beat lowly Somalia. Then in Europe, there are some big qualifying matches, particularly the game between Croatia and Czech Republic, with both nations on 12 points at the top of Group L. Then in Group C, there's a massive match for Scotland if they're to realise their dream of qualifying for a first Men's World Cup in 28 years. They face Greece at Hampden Park in Glasgow. There's also a Battle of Britain friendly on Thursday night at Wembley as England take on Wales. Harry Kane is unavailable for the match as he nurses a knock on his ankle. Let's dive into some other stories. First of all, quite an enjoyable spat between French midfielder Adrien Rabiot, who plays for AC Milan, and his club's chief executive, Luigi Di Siervo. Adrien was commenting on the fact that AC Milan will be playing a league match against Como in Perth, Australia next February. It'll be the first time that a Serie A match has been held outside of the country. And Adrian, never one to shy away from controversy, told Le Figaro newspaper, "There's a lot of talk about schedules and player health, but this all seems truly absurd. It's crazy to travel so many miles for a match between two Italian teams in Australia." However, AC Milan chief exec Luigi hit back, saying that Adrian should respect his employer before adding he forgets, like all footballers who earn millions of euros, that they are paid to carry out an activity, to play football. And while some clubs are jetting off to play lucrative matches overseas, Sheffield Wednesday fans would settle for just saving their club. Fans at the Owls are now in an ongoing protest against their owner Dejphon Chansiri, but so far the Thai businessman has not been able to sell the stricken club, which has paid wages late in 5 of the last 7 months. There is one potential rescue option, but it's not amazing. Former Crystal Palace shareholder John Textor, the man, of course, responsible for Palace dropping out of the Europa League and into the Conference League due to his multi-club ownership stake in French club Lyon. Here is John speaking about the potential rescue of Wednesday on the Added Time podcast.
I think, gosh, it probably seems like half to 2/3 of that squad is under the age of 21. And, by the time we can even get in and address things, if we were to reach a deal with the club, certainly I hope it's not too late. I think they're fighting hard. The fans are supporting the squad, if not the owner necessarily. And everybody's just rooting for it to work out. But I think it's been a bit overstated, the extent to which we are involved in that situation. We're one of, I think, 3 or 4 groups that are getting an appropriate amount of open-mindedness from the owner.
I actually found that pretty bleak to listen to, and it must be even worse for Sheffield Wednesday fans who continue to push hard for the removal of Chansiri with repeated protests, but not very much seems to be happening to save the stricken club. And money actually seems to be a bit of a theme on today's show. On Wednesday, it was announced that Cristiano Ronaldo is football's first billionaire. Despite getting obscene levels of money, sporting billionaires are actually pretty rare. The only ones are believed to be basketballers Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson and LeBron James, golfer Tiger Woods and tennis player Roger Federer. But Cristiano Ronaldo looks to have joined that list. Here's Sophia Horta-Acosta from Bloomberg News explaining why the way that Ronaldo reached $1 billion valuation is particularly unique.
Now, most of the billionaire athletes that the Bloomberg Billionaire Index tracks, like Roger Federer, the majority of that comes from sponsorships or ownerships in other companies. But Ronaldo is purely from being on the field, which is very unique among athletes.
And hey, if Cristiano Ronaldo is looking for a way to spend that $1.4 billion, maybe he could buy Sheffield Wednesday. And finally, development on a story we mentioned yesterday. It looks as if Steven Gerrard is to hold talks with Scottish club Rangers about returning to the club as their new head coach. The former Liverpool midfielder has the backing from many Rangers supporters after his previous successful stint at Ibrox, and it seems as if both parties are keen to make a deal. Last up, do you love or hate goal music? Now, my instant reaction is a hard hate it, but actually, there are a couple of ones that work. It is the exception to the rule. For instance, the Flintstones Can-Can mashup at Bayern Munich. I don't know why I particularly love Bayern Munich's Can-Can. It's also just the idea of Bayern Munich. They regularly win by like 7 or 8 goals in the Bundesliga. Imagine being an Augsburg fan and just having to hear the Can-Can 8 times as you sit in the away end. And actually, back in England, as much as they're a rival of my team Fulham, the QPR one kind of slaps. Yeah, I mean, it's quite good, isn't it? Generally, though, I'm not a fan of goal music. I just think that the noise of a celebrating crowd is more than enough. But this is a debate currently going on at Chelsea because they have started playing this as goals go. Yeah, I actually noticed this as an away fan at Stamford Bridge myself back in August and thinking, did they always play this? I get the reason. The song is called Chelsea Dagger. It's by the Fratellis, and standalone, it's a banger of a tune. It's one that's sung at weddings and things like that. It's certainly one everyone knows the words to, but sometimes is it just best to leave these things as they were? Here's Chelsea fan Craig Dixon on Sky Sports News expressing his opinion.
I want the music to stop. I've signed a petition. I can't stand it.
Why though? What is the issue? Is it the actual music? Is it the fact that there is music in the first place? The song? What is it?
Yeah, all of the above. It doesn't help that the song is, just because it says Chelsea in the title, it's got nothing to do with Chelsea Football Club.
Well, look, I mean, if there is a positive to all this, at least you are scoring goals at home, Chelsea. Could be a lot worse. That's it for First Up Football today. We'll be back tomorrow.